Hey guys, welcome back to me, Fanny with Jessie, the life coach. A big welcome, kisses and smooches to you. It's been beautiful weather in New York, so I am on cloud 9. Spring has arrived and I'm like, yay, like thank God. So guys, what are we getting into today? Today I'm actually taking subscriber questions. So if you are new here, a big welcome. Come on in, come join my tribe. I'm so happy to have you. What is subscriber questions, you might ask? Is I actually take questions from my subscribers for anything that might be struggling with or dealing with or having a hard time organizing. If you are new, my channel is all about organizing and coming into alignment, and that's within everything. So we're talking about our feelings, our emotions, getting ourselves in alignment, getting our homes in alignment, getting ourselves organized, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the subscriber question for today, and it is, let's see. Okay. So I have a question from a subscriber that is suffering from anxiety and depression. She recently had her daughter come back to live with her. Her daughter is 23 years old, and she actually has a new baby. She has a child of her own. And the subscriber said that she's been having a really hard time communicating with her daughter. They have like a big communication problem. And basically she feels her daughter is disrespectful and all the burdens, all the bills, all the responsibility is falling on her. So she wanted to know, what can she do? What kind of guidance can I give her? What do I suggest? Okay. So in situations like these, communication obviously is a problem. So I would definitely say you definitely need to have clear communication. But also in this dynamic, it sounds like it's more of a power struggle, right? So when you're dealing with adult kids or just kids that are already teenagers and things like that, and if you have a household like that, you probably, it's familiar. It's familiar to you because you are going to go through this. Kids come into their own. They have their own ways of doing things, their own attitudes, their own belief systems, their own perceptions on how things should be done, and it becomes a clash. And that's the first problem. There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. And in this situation, because it is a power struggle, this woman, this subscriber, this parent needs to take back the control. That's what this whole dynamic is about. Somewhere along the line, she lost control and she needs to get that power back. So what I tell people who are going through this situation or something similar is to become the CEO of your household again, because that's truly what you are. If you are the parent who's paying the rent or the mortgage, and you are leading the household, that's truly what you are. You are the chief executive officer in your house. You are the CEO, which means you are the leader, which means you set the tone. So it's all about getting your power back and standing in that power. So first thing is going to be communication. You have to be able to communicate clearly with your daughter or whoever you're having a power dynamic with on what you want, what you need, and what are the rules. So let's say, for instance, in this situation, like she stated, she feels that her daughter is not pulling her weight. The burden is all falling on her financially, and also with responsibilities in the household. So in that situation, she has said that she has communicated already with her daughter, but I find majority of these times, as I coach people and get into the nits and gritties of people's situation, is they're not communicating clearly, and that's a big issue with human dynamics. We're not communicating clearly. The way we usually communicate is through passive aggressive means, which means that the communication is not clear, is not assertive, it's not like, this is what I want. It's almost like, this is what I can possibly accept. No, there's no room for possibilities. You have to be clear on, this is what I want you to do, right? Like, for instance, we obviously have a communication problem, so I want to be clear on what I need to make this dynamic of you living in my home work for me. I'm doing A, B, C, D, and I'm going to need you to meet me halfway, and this is what I'm going to need you to do. I'm going to need you by the time I get home to have the house clean. I need the dishes done. I need the garbage thrown out, so on and so forth. Obviously, this is just an example, but the basis, the premise of what I'm trying to communicate is that you have to communicate clearly. Clearly state what you need to make this work, and clearly state what you feel uncomfortable with, and clearly state what you won't tolerate. You have to be clear. Not only do you have to be clear, but you have to be assertive, right? You can't go back and forth. No, be assertive when you speak. Be clear, be strong in your approach, and express what you need to express. Usually what I find in these dynamics, especially when we are talking about taking control of your household, when we are talking about household dynamics and we're talking about family members and kids and spouses and things of that nature, and people who are closest to us, what I find is that we let our emotions cloud our judgment. So you cannot let that happen. Remember, you're the CEO. When I say you have to be the CEO of your household, you literally have to be in CEO mode. You have to possess those CEO traits. You have to literally run your house like it's business. So when you run a business, or you are a leadership, or you are in a leadership role, there's not much room for too much emotion, right? You can't let people slide just because you like them. No. Like if you set a rule, or there's a set rules for one person, it applies to all. And while we might consider, circumstances and things that arise that prevent certain things from happening, we also have to look at that with eyes of judgment, right? Because once again, we can't let our emotions overtake us in these situations and let people take advantage, right? So that's one thing to always know. When you are dealing with your household, do not let your emotions cloud your judgment. These people you love, yes, we know they are your children. You want to nurture them, but you also want to not let them take advantage. You are not a doormat. Just because you are a mother doesn't mean that you are going to let everything and everybody's responsibility slide. One of your main jobs as a parent is to raise a child that is capable of living in reality and dealing with the cons of life and the disappointments of life. You have to show them how to take accountability. And that is one of the main jobs of a parent. So when they go out into the real world, they're able to survive. They're able to, take those hits and come back stronger. So that's one thing I definitely want to mention, because a lot of times when people do not stand in their power, specifically mothers, it's because they feel like they feel the sense of guilt, like they're not being fair to their child. So just keep that in mind. So my second tip of being the CEO of your household is to be able to delegate and manage people. One of the strongest traits of a good leader and a CEO is being able to delegate the work, because as a CEO or as a leader, you are only one person. So you need the help and the assistance of everybody around you, your supporters, right? Your constituents. So that's the way you have to think in your household. You are the leader, and your children or whoever's in your household, that you cannot control, right? You can delegate responsibility and tasks to, and that's super important to recognize. I always find when I'm coaching people, especially in family dynamics, when they're struggling with getting people in their household to get on board with rules and procedures and tasks and responsibility, is that they're waiting for them to take the reins. They're waiting for them to say, hey, I'm going to go wash the dishes today, or hey, I'm going to go do this, or hey, here's an extra $50 for the cable bill because I know I watched the cable and I don't think it's fair that you pay for all of it. That's never going to happen. Like, it happens in certain cases, so I wouldn't say never, but majority of the time that is not going to happen. So it's going to be up to you. You are going to have to be able to step up to the plate, be that leader, and say, okay, this is where things are falling short. This is what I need done. This is what I need assistance with on a financial level, whatever the situation is, whatever you're taking control of in your household, and be able to delegate that. Like if you have 3 kids and you feel like, it's unfair, one kid is pitching in and the other one is not, well, it is your responsibility to delegate those responsibilities. In this situation, this woman is talking about one child, but she feels she's not taking responsibility. And she wants her to just get up and take the initiative, and that's not being done. So it's just becoming a cycle. It's going back and forth. So in order to avoid that, it's going to be up to her. I'm talking to you. If you're watching this video, it's going to be up to you to take control and delegate the responsibility and delegate how much you want her to contribute to the household, so on and so forth. Assign the task and responsibility. Now, my third tip, when you're being the CEO, is where there is delegation and responsibility and tasks and responsibility being sent out to others and assigned to others, has to come consequences, right? In any job, in any business, if you do not follow up with the tasks that are assigned to you, there's always a consequence, right? Well, you have to think of it the same way in your household. So in this instance, she's dealing with her daughter, who's already an adult, and she feels she is not doing enough. So she's going to sit down with her, she's going to communicate, she's then going to delegate and give her task and responsibility. And if she does not participate or do her share or her task, she needs to assign consequences. So that's super important, and this is a lot of times where things fall short. A lot of parents don't set consequences, or if they do, they let it slide too many times. And when you do that, your kids start losing respect for you, and they start knowing that they can play with you, right? And that's exactly what you don't want, right? Because then it becomes a habit, it becomes a cycle. You become like in a circle of, can you do this? I told you to do this, why didn't you do it? And you start talk. No, take the talking out. Don't even stress yourself. She wants to get out that anxiety and depression, and this is the way to do it. We're talking about a 23-year-old, an adult who actually has her own child. If the consequence has to be to the point that you're saying, listen, I'm going to need you to do A, B, and C, and I'm going to need you to pitch in this, how much I'm going to need you to, give me, and, set realistic plans, of course, right? Like if the person doesn't have a job, then how do you expect them to contribute financially? But they don't have to contribute financially, right? They actually could contribute in different means. So maybe in household chores and, things of that sort. So we have to be realistic with our situation as well. But if you're setting that, and that child of yours, this 23-year-old adult, she really is an adult, is not following through, then the consequence might be, you know what, if you can't pitch in and you cannot do what is being asked of you, then you might have to find another place to live. And it seems harsh, and that's the thing. The punishment that goes with the crime is usually too hard for the parent to be able to just even say it, to even set it on the table. And then, these adult children and just children in general just take advantage. So you have to be able to step up to the plate and stand in your power and understand, that you got to strip that guilt away, because you are actually showing, this adult child responsibility. She actually is a mother herself now, and she needs to learn how to take accountability. And you have to be able to show that to her and not feel guilty for that. Now, my fourth tip, when you are a CEO and you are a leader, you have to be able to motivate and influence, right? Majority of the time, you have to be able to motivate and kind of manipulate how you want your outcomes to come out. And the way you do that is by positive and negative reinforcement. And this is basic, right? You'll see teachers do this as well with their students and so on and so forth. So take the same principle and apply it to your household. And so what I mean by that, now you could do this in different ways, right? A positive reinforcement could be something as, they do a task that you want them to do, and you give them something that they've been wanting, or you feel that they deserve, right? So it's basically giving them a perk, right? Now, when you think about the household, there's a lot of things that are perks. A lot of people will say, well, I don't have anything to strip away and things of that sort. But there's a lot of extras in our household. Can't even speak straight. There's a lot of extras in our household that they are of comfort, like Wi-Fi, right? We have become dependent on Wi-Fi for so many things, so we just necessarily think that, it is a need. But it's not. It's a privilege. And for young people, they can't live without their social media and getting into contact with people and streaming their music and streaming their movies and things of that sort. Well, that's a perk, and that costs money. And you might be saying, well, I need the Wi-Fi for my job, so I can't really limit them. Oh, yeah, you can. You could use that as a negative and positive reinforcement. Like, this is what I need you to do. And if you don't do it, you're not getting the Wi-Fi password. Because, yeah, you can change that daily. And you also could be able to administer certain passwords to certain groups and certain people. So, yeah, you could use that, those advantages in your favor. So, things as simple as that. Like, if you do so and so and so, you get the password for the day. Right? If you do so and so and so, you get to use the card for the day. If you do this, that, and the third, you get this for the day. Right? So guys, that's all I have for you today. Make sure when you are running your household that you are running it like a CEO, like a boss, like a leader. And, be confident and stand in your power. Once you say something, you say it. Don't backtrack. Don't go back. To this subscriber, she's dealing with anxiety and depression due to this. And that's huge. We're talking about your mental health at this point. And if your daughter cannot get on board, you have to really consider, does she need to consider a different place to live? And you have to have that honest conversation with her. You are an adult. You're 23 years old. Now you are a mother. You know, you have to learn accountability. You have to learn responsibility. I'm going to need you to chip in with certain tasks. I'm going to need you to chip in financially. I'm willing to work with you. Obviously, I love you. You are my child. However, there's still rules and things that need to get done in this household, and I can't do it by myself, right? This woman stated that she actually is a single parent. So make them aware of that. Make them aware how much you are sacrificing and struggling, and if they were on their own, it will be harder for them. So it's in her best interest to meet you halfway, to be reasonable, to be considerate, and to, you know, help out in what and where she can. And like I said, in this situation, she's not stepping up to the plate at this point. You have to bypass that, and you have to delegate the responsibility. So 1, communicate. 2, delegate. 3, set consequences if it's not, you know, follow through. And then 4, just motivate and influence. Give her praise. You know, make sure to make her aware that there are certain comforts that she is having in your home, and if she's not following up with tasks and things that you are needing of her, you are going to strip away those comforts. And if that doesn't work, then you're going to have to go to stronger means and stronger consequences, and make her aware of that, and make her aware of where your endpoint is going to be. And that's my suggestion and guidance for all parents and anybody who's been with another. It don't have to be kids. It could be a spouse. It could be a partner. It could be a significant other. You know, when you share a shared space with someone, it can be complicated. It can be difficult because we're talking about more than one personality that you have to consider, and needs and wants, and not everybody is equipped to deal with that in a fair manner. So you have to be able to take the leadership and kind of ring it in. And then of course, if it's not working out, then you need to think about what's going to be the consequence if that happens. Like, how far are you willing to go? And I always say, like, if it's your house and you know you are the commander in chief there, then you have to make hard decisions, and that's part of being a leader and a CEO. Sometimes we don't want to have to let people go. Sometimes we don't want to have those difficult discussions with them. Sometimes we don't want to have to pry in their personal life and what's going on with them and why their performance is not up to par. But that's part of being a leader. So you have to be able to embrace those traits and be able to follow through with them. So guys, that's all I have for today. I'm going to be seeing you in my next video. I have another subscriber question I am going to do. As I said, if you have a subscriber question and you're struggling with something, definitely leave it in the comments. If you feel uncomfortable, it's more than that, it's personal, you can always send me a direct message. You can send me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook. And so besides that, I have some fun stuff coming up, some organizing videos. I know I have another subscriber, a few subscribers that asked me about doing a video on freezer organization, and I'm going to do that. It is coming up. It should be in a rotation this week, so check back for that if you're looking to how to organize your freezer. And I will see you in my next one. Smooches, love and light. See you the next time. Bye.